I want to welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm hopeful that through the course of the next hour, you're going to learn a lot about how you can market yourself through a recession. This is, the experts say that people that market themselves during a recession are the ones that thrive and survive and then thrive on the other end of it. A couple of housekeeping things before we get started. Again, you can always introduce yourself in chat to the rest of us. We can't see you or hear you, so the way that you can interact with us is by posting questions in the Q&A, and you'll see that down at the bottom of your Zoom interface that there's a Q&A button there. So if you want to ask a panelist or a question, go ahead and enter it there. Danny's going to have the task of curating all the questions, and then we're going to have a question and answer session at the end of the presentation rather than after each presenter. So let's go ahead and let's introduce who's here. Next slide, please. We're going to hear today, I'm not sure we're going to see him, but we're going to hear today from Michael Olson, who is going to talk about radio. He's the general manager at KSCO Radio and also the board member at Think Local First Santa Cruz. And he's going to talk about both those things. Cherie Andersson is the general manager at the Press Banner, and she's going to speak on the topic of community newspaper and how that can really help you with your PR and advertising. Then I'm third up. I am the co-founder and CEO of TAM Communications, and I'm going to talk about video and social. Next, we've got Tobey, who is the founder of GetVirtual, who's going to talk about some exciting things that he's working on and that could be of help to you in the area of website development, website optimization for mobile perhaps, online shopping, online marketing, and everything virtual. And then finally, we're going to end before the Q&A with Danny Reber, who's the executive director of the Scotts Valley Chamber of Commerce. And he's going to talk about the importance of joining the chamber and networking both physically and virtually like we're doing right now. So next slide, please. That cues up Michael Olson here. Michael, take it away.
Well, thank you very much, Susan and Danny and Angela. Thank you for putting all of this together. Sorry my camera didn't work, but most appropriate, don't you think, for a radio guy, not to have a camera on him, have a face for radio, you know. Yes, I come to you today as General Manager of KSCO, KOMY, also a founding board member of Think Local First, but also as a veteran of many thousands of retail marketing campaigns. Some years ago, I sat down to describe this process of being a marketer to farmers vis-a-vis my book, Metro Farm. Farmers are typically not marketing people. They're typically out in the field growing crops, and they just take their crops to market and say, what will you give me for this crop? Now, if you're growing crops for the metropolitan area, you have to be a marketing person to the extent that you can take your crop to the market and say, this is what you must give me for my crop. So how does one become a warrior of the marketplace? There are only 3 things you have to do to be a proficient warrior of the marketplace. Number 1, you have to use the right weapon. Now, what the heck is a weapon for a marketing person? It's simply the message you will use to sell the market on yourself or your product or your service. Use the right weapon. Number 2, you have to hit the right target, which is to say those who have the greatest propensity to buy your product. Now, you can probably spend a lot of money trying to talk 16-year-old boys into buying Brussels sprouts, but I suggest you're going to go broke doing it. So hit the right target. And finally, you have to use enough force to get your message across. And that's kind of the green thumb technology of marketing, and you really have to have a sense of the medium you're using to get that job done correctly. So whenever I see a marketing campaign that did not work, I take it apart like one would an engine, and I can see where one of these rules has been violated. Somehow they did not use the right weapon, they did not hit the right target, or they did not use enough force to get the job done. So if you want to succeed with whatever you're marketing, I suggest you use the right weapon, hit the right target, use enough force to get the job done, and you will be a winner of the marketplace. Now, as a warrior of the local marketplace, I have come to love the medium in which I am the general manager, which is KSCO, KOMY. KSCO has been in this market for 70 years, broadcasting to the Santa Cruz community. It does local news and talk. What do we mean by local? Well, KSCO is essentially the community speaking with itself. 89 local voices on the air, talking about everything you can possibly imagine from every perspective imaginable. 12 hours a day of local origination, full service morning and afternoon commutes, and essentially we are the community talking with itself. What is our community? Well, we've been in Santa Cruz, like I said, for over 70 years. And so Santa Cruz County and the Monterey Bay area are our community. But also we have a strong signal throughout the South San Francisco and Monterey Bay regions, from Fremont roughly down to Paso Robles, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 million potential listeners in our broadcast area. Now, why would anybody like in Paso Robles or someplace like that listen to KSCO Santa Cruz? Well, essentially because we are Santa Cruz. Some years ago, I was out in the South Pacific on an island of Afate in the Vanuatu group, researching a World War II book. And I was in this wonderful hotel lobby. It was open to the world, you know, and across the way there was a blue lagoon and with palm trees, and you could smell the frangipani in the air and a rainbow and whatnot. And this is where James Michener wrote Tales from the South Pacific. And I thought, this really is a South Pacific paradise. I found it. And across the lobby, a young couple came my way, and the young man had a t-shirt on, and it had the Santa Cruz logo on it. And I pointed to it, and I said, wow, I live there. And, you know, without even looking at me, walked right past, and over his shoulder, he said, lucky. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we are lucky to be in Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz is a destination resort, and KSCO is Santa Cruz. And that's why people from all over the world tune into our local news and talk radio station. Really a fun kind of place to be. Now, who listens to news talk radio? It tends to be people who have an investment at risk in the community, which is to say they have a home, or they have a family, or they have a career. In fact, 72% of our audience are estimated to be homeowners, 71% vote. We tend to be 55% male, 45% female, 35 plus is our demographic. So why do I love using this as a advertising medium, as a marketing vehicle? Well, news talk radio is an intrusive medium. You'll never hear it being played at the dentist office because people pay attention to it. You won't hear it in stores or grocery stores or anything like that either, because when news talk is on, people listen and they actually hear and they actually get involved in what is being said. So if you were to play KSCO at the dentist office, you'd probably end up getting in an argument with the dentist or something. You don't want to have that to happen. So when people listen to news talk radio, 86% hear the message. They listen to it, 86%. That's person-to-person communications. Now, when I worked briefly in music radio, a lot different. Only 27% of music radio listeners hear a commercial. It either tends to fade to the background or they just punch out and when a commercial comes on and leave you in the dust. So having that ability to actually speak to people person to person when they have nothing to distract them but the brake lights ahead really makes for a powerful marketing tool. With respect to KSCO, we are a locally owned radio station, which means we have a great deal of freedom to use that medium in the best way possible for each different client, for each different marketing effort. And we can, for example, use 10-second messages, or we can go up to 2-hour messages, and we do. It all depends on the marketing campaign specifically and what our customers are trying to do. Now, and we do what we need to do to make things work for our clients as well. Now, during this COVID pandemic panic that we're all going through, as we watch our world crumble before our eyes, KSCO is doing everything we possibly can to lend a hand to our local business community. One of the ways we're doing that is with our COVID pandemic plan, where we're essentially giving away a commercial for every commercial our advertisers buy. Buy one, get one free. That means you get a lot more exposure for a lot less money. And that's what we're trying to do to help pick up our community and make us all strong again. So that's a brief about KSCO. Love to show you around our studio. It's on 2300 Portola Avenue. The radio station was designed after the original WNBC in New York City. Our broadcast studio was designed for big bands, and it's a lot of fun. Come visit. Love to show you around. Now, Think Local First County of Santa Cruz is also a marketing effort. It is a marketing cooperative put together in the financial crisis of 2007 and reformed during this panic. We re-upped our effort to serve our local business community. The objective of this marketing cooperative is to promote and sustain economic development of locally owned independent businesses. Over the past 10 years, we've spent pretty close to $500,000 on promoting the TLF brand. And so in this year, we've established a brand new marketing facility for all locally owned businesses. All you have to do is go to thinklocalfirstsantacruz.org, register your locally owned business on our local business directory, and we are going to be spending another $500,000 advertising that directory to our Central Coast community. The idea is to think local first, and where do you think local first? On the local business directory at thinklocalsantacruz.org. So if you are a locally owned business, jump on board and let's go to town. So those are my comments today. I hope I brought it in with my respective time, and I look forward to questions that you might have.
Well, thank you very much, Michael. That was great. Next up, let's go to the next slide because we have a really great presenter from our local community newspaper, Cherie Andersson from the Press Banner. Cherie.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity. Looking forward to having a few minutes to talk about the newest news with regards to the Press Banner, as well as how we can help during COVID and any other time. So the first thing I want to do is address the elephant in the proverbial room, which is, yes, we were acquired As a matter of fact, I found out last Friday afternoon that we were acquired by the same company that owns the Good Times and the Metro, and a lot of other papers. And the really great news, and I think it's really a lot of good news. I don't want anyone to panic, because the community paper is something that is so near and dear to everybody's heart. And I really found that out after the fire, when people just were calling and coming in here and just saying, oh, I please have some of the issues, you know, that I didn't get. I've been gone for 4 weeks and I miss my paper so much. And I hear you guys did all this coverage on the fire. I mean, I was just amazingly humbled. So it's just great stuff. The good news with the acquisition is that we have manpower, we have resources, we have a digital, or we will have a digital presence that is finally up to the level of technology that we should have, which is something that has been a huge issue for me, because I spent about 15 years in Silicon Valley launching businesses in the digital world and launching websites and addressing all of the marketing needs for everything from Fortune 500 companies to not usually too many small companies, but you know, that I've done here. So the good news is everyone from the team is hired. We have more resources. We have more technology. We have the ability now from an advertising standpoint to provide our advertisers, should they desire to do so, the ability to reach multiple areas now, because I can cross-sell in those publications. So we can get to the East Bay, we can get down to Monterey and Salinas, we can get into Watsonville, we can get into Santa Cruz through the Good Times. So there's going to be, needless to say, I don't have all the package deals and numbers yet, but there's going to be huge opportunity for advertisers to expand their reach to new customers and customers that they may be using something that could or could not be working as effectively. And the marriage between the publications and the new technology that's going to be available with our new website is going to be just an incredible upswing and opportunity for everybody. So that's that for now. As things develop, obviously, we'll be informing people through the paper and through the website and all that stuff. Angie, you can go to the next slide, please. As Michael was saying, and I've been in advertising for 30 years, most of it in Silicon Valley, it's called Target Your Audience. So if you are looking like Michael again was saying, you got to think about where your audience is, and there are multiple places. They are reading some paper, some newspaper, some magazine. They are listening to radio somewhere. They are watching television, and they are on social media and the digital websites. So to the best of your ability, you should present your best case scenario, who you are, what you have to offer to those people. Now, who are we reaching? People really have a lot of misconceptions about the press banner. I've known that, I've learned that since I got here in March of 2017. And in particular with the San Lorenzo Valley, because people assume that the San Lorenzo Valley is just this little valley where, you know, nobody really makes any money. And so, you know, what do I want to market there? I won't say everybody says that, but a lot of people think that. But in reality, and the data we're looking at is about 5 or 6 years old, because we're, you know, this can get updated when we now have another census and stuff like that. But the reality is, and I think many locals know this, that San Lorenzo Valley has many high-tech people there that do make very good money. And you can see by the demographics in here that the average income is much higher, you know, 37% with over 100,000. And we all know, based upon home prices and everything else, that you are not going to be able to buy a home around here unless you're making some real good money. Whether that means you're working elsewhere doesn't matter. The point is, they're a customer potential. There's somebody that you want to address, and you want them to know who you are and what you have to do. So we do have, you know, I think everybody realizes Scotts Valley is a powerful and well-to-do area in general, but I think it's important to shed some light on the San Lorenzo Valley being also very, very important, and really coming up to par given all the high-tech households there. Angie, you can go to the next slide. That's an interesting photo. So the best thing about the press banner, and this is something that I've learned again, I kind of always thought about this, but I really learned it when I started working here and then taking it over from doing the editorial and the sales, is that the community paper is thought of very differently than a regular weekly paper is or daily paper is. People take this publication very seriously. They tell me all the time they read it from cover to cover. They look for it, they come here looking for it. I mean, this couple lost their home and they just were so thrilled that they had 5 or 6 issues of everything that they could read because it made them feel like something was normal. I mean, just really humbling. So what's important is that you're a local business and you want to, most importantly, build trust with your potential customer base out there. If they don't trust you as a business person, if they don't trust your business, then that's a huge issue from the standpoint. Everything starts with trust, relationships of any kind. You can reach customers through our paper that you are not going to reach through social media and digital. As we all know, the reality is that there are a lot of people, they're not all over 50 or 60, some of them are even younger, because I've had conversations with them, that really, they do social media minimally. They do digital stuff minimally. They just choose for whatever reason not to do some of that stuff. But they do like to sit and read their paper. So we have a wonderful format, a wonderfully valued product that people will read, and they will see your ad, and they do respond to those. I think it's really important right now, as we were talking about this being such a weird year and everything with COVID and guidelines changing and businesses opening and closing and you're inside and you're outside and everything else, is that you need to inform your business of what's happening with your business. You need to inform the readers of what's happening with your business. Are you now open inside? Different things like that. We have special editions throughout the year, like the Faves and Raves and the Kids of Summer and different things like that. We target those different specific areas so that we can dedicate not only editorial, but also the advertising and the advertisers relevant to that subject matter, and give them their own little vehicle, usually, a 12 to a 16-page second issue tucked inside of our press banner issue. And those are always very, very successful. This year, obviously, it was very different with Kids of Summer because all that stuff couldn't open. But our graduation stuff that we did and the appreciation after the fires brought in a lot of great businesses. Thank you to everyone who supported that and helped us. And that's a very important part, is helping your community paper. And a lot of people may not realize, as a business, you can insert a flyer, you can insert a booklet, so you can talk to me about those costs and do that. But sometimes that is a very, very appropriate way to get your message across. Angie, you can move to the next screen, please. So as I was saying, when you think about advertising with the press banner, a couple things very important. Trust. How do you build trust? By consistency, by obviously running your business well, by taking care of your customers, and by being consistent. For many years in Silicon Valley, I really did work and talk with people in garages when I was at Macworld Magazine, who then became very large companies. And they would want to start advertising, go, well, I can afford 1 full page. Don't do that. If you can afford 6 quarter pages, do 6 quarter pages. You want consistency. You want to be in front of people, and you want to be able to get the right message in front of them. So right now, a lot of the messaging that we're talking about is, what are your hours in your business? Are they different? Are they going back to the same? Are you now open indoors? Are you online and you weren't online before? Are you planning a special event? Are you going to have a big sale? Are you going to open up an outdoor space? Are you launching a new product? There's all kinds of things that each one of you are doing all the time that I know there's a lot of social media happening with that, but that's a huge audience of people that aren't reading that social media that you want to reach, that have money to spend, and that's who you want to get to. Have you considered an incentive to drive people to your business? Do you have a discount, 2 for 1, buy 2, get 1 free, you know, whether it's meals, whatever it is? Do you have a package deal that you might be able to offer somebody? And also always really coupons, and add with a coupon, you know, get 2 meals and get a 10% discount, whatever it is. Those things always work. People really do use those. So I really urge people to consider using those things in their advertising, and considering doing more to keep all those who are not following you on social media aware of what's happening with you. Angie, last screen, please. And basically, that is the message. Now, again, just real quick, with the new acquisition, there's going to be a great expansion of reach and potential opportunities that I'm really looking forward to learning about and sharing with everybody. And, you know, obviously that'll happen over the next few weeks and next month. Until then, we have special opportunities. We have a 13 for 10, 13 ends for the price of 10 that's running this fall. Lots of great opportunities. Call me, email me, Cherie, C-H-E-R-I-E, Cherie at the press banner, and let's communicate about what your needs are and how we can help you here. Thank you. I'm done.
Thanks so much, Cherie. Go ahead and go to the next slide. We'll get started on my presentation. We are running a little long here, but we'll try to catch up in the next 2 presentations. For those of you that don't know who I am, TAM Communications is probably best known for the work we've done for the Boardwalk. We do all their TV spots and have done so for 28 years, and a host of other things, from social media to a television show that aired on Northern California TV stations, and videos that only their employees see. Next slide, please. Why I highlight the Boardwalk is because they have understood the value of social media since maybe the invention of the medium itself. They have over 410,000 Facebook friends. Compare that with Great America and Discovery Kingdom, Marine World, who have just about 250,000 Facebook fans. And the Boardwalk also gets more actual guests to their park as compared to those much larger parks. So the Boardwalk, with, I assume, a much smaller marketing budget than the other 2 parks, is doing a few things right. And social media is definitely one of them. But why do I say that social media is a must-have? Not only can it be the least expensive part of your marketing, but it works. And it works now more than ever. According to a recent Harris poll conducted between late March and early May, between 46% and 51% of US adults were using social media more than since the outbreak began. So use it to reach your existing customers as well as new customers. The Boardwalk not only understands the value of social media, they also know which social media channels serve them best. These are just some of the social media options there are out there, and those aren't all of them. It seems like a new one's popping up every day. Which ones you choose depends on what you do and who your customers are. Facebook tends to have an older audience versus Snapchat or WeChat. It also tends to be more female. That's why Facebook is the Boardwalk's #1 channel, because it's typically women who make decisions like where to go on vacation or for a day or weekend long outing. And then Instagram is their number 2 because it crosses all the age groups and is a great place to post images and short videos. And we know that the Boardwalk can serve up some pretty compelling images. Next slide, please. So what to post? Sorry, I lost my place for a minute. What to post? What you want to post is content that is engaging. And what that means is that even though I know what you want to do is to have customers buy your product, that's the end goal. You first need to engage them with your content because that creates an emotional connection between you and the person. Think about it. Adorable baby pictures, funny cat and dog videos, mouth-watering food photos. That is engaging content. And what does engagement mean? It means they stop their scrolling and they click, they like, they share, or they even comment. So my rule of thumb is that we try to do is a 4-to-1 ratio. 1 promotional post per week and 4 of something else. Take pictures of your customers buying a special gift or celebrating a special occasion. Write some trivia. If you're a restaurant, give away a recipe or show how it all comes together in a video captured on your iPhone or whatever device you have. Do a Facebook Live event of your football watch party. Post an historical skill or feature an awesome member of your team. And play to your strengths. If you're a photographer, use it. If you're a writer, use that. And encourage user-generated content. People love to see themselves and their friends. If you're a B2B business, tag your customers and then follow them and like their content. Now, I know that, next slide, please. Now I know what you're thinking. How can you possibly work this into your day when pre-COVID you were working too hard and now there's maybe fewer staff, COVID-related things at the business, and you're handling distance learning on top of that. I know it's hard, but I think that if you sat down once a week and for about an hour, maybe less, that you could put your plan together. And you can also be spontaneous and move that scheduled post by taking a picture in your store or restaurant and moving that scheduled post to the following week. Ideally, you'll publish close to when your customers are checking their channels. Now that's typically early morning or around lunchtime and then end of day, maybe before or after dinner. It will take some trial and error to find that sweet spot. Understand that just because you post and someone likes your page, they may not see your post. The last number I saw was that posts are seen by about 35% of your friends or followers. The more they engage, though, the higher that percentage. So shoot for 1 post a day. That's really ideal. But if you can't make that, once a week should be minimum, and don't overpost. You don't need to do multiple posts in a day. Next slide, please. I would say that if you really have a special post, you can put, for a very small amount of money, put some dollars behind that post to boost it. And what you'll find is that the Facebook will reward you by increasing that number from 35% to more. The more eyeballs on your post, the better. And speaking of eyeballs, I want to talk just a bit about the value of email marketing. That's another great way to get in front of customers. To build an email database, you can post a link to your sign-up page, to your sign-up page on your Facebook page. Offer a free something for joining your list. Have reminders in your physical location. Make a prominent mention on your website. And if you have an online store, include an engaging reason for them to join when they buy. Use your database by sending out a once-a-month e-blast. And like your Facebook or Instagram post, mix it up. It's not all about selling. Include promos or specials, but also tell stories. An example is I'm on the Shadowbrook email list, and they shared a note they had received from a customer detailing how their dinner experience made her Mother's Day. And again, you can also include tips, no matter what your business. You might also include a link to an interesting article you read, include engaging photos and keep your copy crisp and conversational. Next slide, please. So why use video content? Well, I think the thing is about video content is that it really hits all those points. It's engaging, it's a great way to, and it's a great way to establish an emotional connection with your fans or followers. Now, this picture here of this really cute little girl is my granddaughter, for example. She is my granddaughter. She was Liliana, the boardwalk expert, where she reviewed boardwalk foods, rides, and games. She has her own little playlist on the boardwalk YouTube site. Now, this episode here is her first dipper ride. Now, who in Santa Cruz County doesn't remember their first dipper ride? It's an immediate attention getter and was really well followed by boardwalk fans. Now, not all video needs to be professionally produced. You don't have to hire us, but you can. Facebook live events get a lot of eyeballs, and Facebook rewards you for them, giving you more than that 35% of your fans. Video is also a great way to show off your staff and how great their service is. It's really shareable content. The other reason to upload natively to Facebook and then to your YouTube channel, which if you don't have one, you should, is that YouTube is also the second largest search engine, second only to Google. On one note, you want to create what they call an SRT file with your video. With what that is that it's the text that of what's being said in the video. And because we know that people scroll and don't necessarily have their audio on. And this will help them, may make them stop again and click and turn on their audio. It also helps with your search engine optimization. Next slide, please. So that's it. If you want more information, you can put a question in the Q&A, or you can also reach us at letsconnect@tamcom.com. So thank you so much for watching and listening, and hope that you learned something from that. So next slide, please. Next up is Tobey Corey. He's the founder of GetVirtual. Tobey.
Hey, Susan. Thank you so much, and it's great to be here today. I really appreciate the invite. Real quick background on myself, 22-year resident here in Santa Cruz. I'm really going to date myself right now. 35-year tech executive, successful entrepreneur in the mid-90s, built the largest web development company in the world, had a successful IPO, and then got very focused on climate change and had 2 executive stints at both Solar City and Tesla. And I'm here today to talk to you about a really exciting program. Next slide, please. So I've also been teaching entrepreneurship at Stanford. I'm going on my 11th year. I teach 2 classes at the undergraduate school at Stanford University. And I have always felt that entrepreneurship is an incredible gift and skill that's just code word for creativity. Entrepreneurship's code word for solving problems. Entrepreneurship's code word for innovation. And I think it's one of the most empowering things that our species has this ability, this infinite ability to create. And I've been really looking for ways to how to spread entrepreneurship around the world, because I believe that is the best path forward to address many of the problems that we have, many of the challenges that we have. And I've been so impressed with Generation Z and their capability. So when COVID hit, started thinking about the disproportionate impact on small businesses. You know, you don't have infinite amounts of cash. You're doing a lot on your own, and to have your revenue impacted the way it's been has been really quite challenging. And I've always been a massive fan of local, small community businesses. You know, small businesses employ over 2/3 of all US workers. Small businesses drive 44% of our GDP. Our GDP is comprised of 70% of consumer spending. And small independent local businesses, they're special, you're unique, you understand the community, you employ people. Many of you are very philanthropic, you give back in so many ways. And to have the kind of potential shutdown of small businesses, I think really is detrimental to the fabric of our community. So I was really thinking about how to solve that problem. And being a professor of entrepreneurship, I felt that students today they're very digitally savvy. This is what they've grown up on, being online. Online and social media and mobile computing, they're all second nature to them. They're very, very digitally savvy. And I've also been studying the emergence of no-code software tools and felt that there was a robust set of tools that we could combine with helping develop student skill set where they could apply that and help small businesses in a very, very significant way. We did a pilot program here at UCSC in combination with Bonnie Lipsicombe at the City of Economic Development Director, City of Santa Cruz. And she'd been, I've been on several boards with her, had been telling me how she sees the challenge for small businesses that have mainly had a physical presence. And consumer buying behavior is changing. It's changing permanently. The world's gonna look very different once we get everyone vaccinated and out of COVID. And you've got to be able to have both a physical presence and you got to have a very strong virtual presence as well as part of your business. So the last piece of the puzzle here is that students want to not only excel academically, they want to prepare themselves for successful entry into the workplace. And that's very challenging. It's hard to get an internship. It's hard to get requisite workplace experience. So felt we could come up with a plan to solve a lot of these problems. Next slide, please. So what we created is GetVirtual. We're a nonprofit organization, and it's an entrepreneurial internship program that teaches students how to develop digital solutions for small businesses. So what we put together was a 3 components, a comprehensive methodology that starts with lightweight customer discovery. It also involves how to develop a proposal, and then how to project manage. And we selected a series of no-code tools that require no programming. So we don't have to work with just an engineering student that can write code. And what we have built is a program that takes college students, they work in small teams, and they directly connect with small business owners. And we focus on 3 key service areas. Some businesses need help with either a website or redesigning their website. We can help them there. We also focus on e-commerce. We work mainly with Shopify, getting you on Amazon, Square, and Stripe. And we work in online marketing programs in 4 key areas, helping with SEO, SEM, email marketing campaigns, and social media campaigns. We're really designed as a short-term program to help get these businesses generating revenue very quickly and getting them aligned in a virtual format. They're short-term projects, and we're really designed to teach them how to fish. These programs and software packages that we work with are very easy to use. And then beyond that, it's hiring, more professional organization like Susan or someone else to come on in there. So students get to learn entrepreneurship directly from you. And your skills are no different than Mark Benioff when he started Salesforce.com, or Mark Zuckerberg when he founded Facebook, right? You got to understand what need in the marketplace you're filling, who those customers are that you're filling that need for, how you competitively differentiate in the marketplace, how to price your product or service, how to reach customers, how to make customers happy, how to grow your business, how to have strong financials, a gross margin, and make a profit. Those are all attributes that every single entrepreneur faces. You are all successful entrepreneurs, and bring that to the table. So the students have the opportunity to receive a very high caliber internship program where they partner with you. We take them through a program where we get them prepared and set up and proficient in these tools so they can engage directly with businesses. We're a nonprofit. We charge nothing to colleges, we charge nothing to students, and we charge nothing to small businesses. Next slide, please. So the student benefits are they get to join a worldwide entrepreneurial internship community. We've launched in UC Santa Cruz, California State University, Monterey Bay, Santa Clara University, San Jose State University. We'll be ramping up another 6 colleges between now and January. Our goal is to become a worldwide program to connect all these students together. Their value proposition is that they're also receiving college credit for the work that they do. They're learning and gain valuable hands-on entrepreneurial experience, creating digital solutions for companies like you on this call. They get to learn communication, relationship building skills, interacting directly with small business owners. And I think that they're all feeling really good that they get to give back to the communities where they go to school. And certainly this program allows them to make themselves much more valuable in the workplace, because what you look at as a hiring manager is, okay, what have you done besides just got good grades in school? Where did you apply yourself? So the opportunity for these students to acquire a great internship program and then highlight the work that they've done and show the real value, tangible value that they've created for these small businesses is a really powerful program. Next slide, please. So real quickly, the way the program works, so GetVirtual created a curriculum. So there's two components of it. A student can go through in a self-study program, or a university could adopt the program. And so we built two core curriculum programs that they can take and use. It's open source. We partner with local economic development groups and organizations like this program Susan put together. That's our go-to-market strategy, so that we see ourselves as a very valuable resource and tool for small business owners. And they typically get the word out. Businesses check our website out and say, hey, this is something that could work for me. And then colleges, of course, adopt the curriculum and program and either teach it through an instructor, or students can independently go through and get credit as an independent study program. And once they've gone through that program, they engage directly with small businesses. Next slide, please. So the program looks like this. There's a methodology component to it where we teach customer discovery, proposal development, project management. Once they've gone through that curriculum, then we set them up to shadow. So they actually shadow students that are provisioning this service right now today. We've identified 3 key areas, and we standardized on a series of tools. So web development, we work on Wix and Squarespace, e-commerce, Shopify, Amazon, Square, and Stripe. And we've got a number of tools that we work on for helping to do basic SEO, SEM, email, and social media marketing campaigns. The students they earn a certificate. So they get certified in either one of the areas or multiple of those areas. And then they directly start working with small business, local businesses in one of 3 categories: a small local business. We do work for nonprofits, and we also work for seed stage funded startups. Next slide, please. So the way that works is we start out with relationships with colleges, and then we also have been contacted by many independent students that would just want to join the program. They see the value in that. So they can either take the curriculum in a self-paced study where a student would go through and learn right online with our curriculum, or a college student could take the course at their college. UC Santa Cruz actually created a GetVirtual class. It's called Crown 95 GetVirtual. And it also is approved for any UC school right now. So GetVirtual then delivers the curriculum. Everything is online. It's all virtual. The students, it typically takes them anywhere from 4 to 5 weeks to go through the program, learn the methodology. We have student tools that they use to communicate. They communicate with Slack. They learn how to use Google Drive. We use Trello for our project management. And then once they've gone through that successfully, they get a certification in one of those areas. And then the students join together and then begin to directly engage with small businesses. We try to get businesses in their geographic area. Sometimes that's difficult, believe it or not. Some economic development groups love our program but don't have the time or the energy. So right now we have successfully completed over 60 projects here in Santa Cruz. We have a new class at University of California, Santa Cruz that's currently in session, as well as CSUMB, as well as Santa Clara, and as well as San Jose State. So we're excited to get this program off the ground. Next slide, please. And lastly, our organization, myself and Nada Milkovich, who's a long-term UCSC entrepreneurship instructor here at UCSC. Kindred spirit of mine. She and I partnered together to put this program together. We literally just launched it in April, and we wanted to see if this program would work. And we're joined by the core 8 students that were the original students to help build this platform and program going forward. So we've got a customer excellence program headed up by 2 co-founder students, Yulia and Ananya. We have a curriculum development and knowledge management program headed up by Aaron, Yulia, and Stryker. We have a program where Anaga and Nikki onboard individual students. And we have our project partnership program where we engage with opportunities like we're doing today. We have a team with SMEET that works with getting colleges set up to actually administer the course, and then a creative design firm. The only downside that we have is we're at full capacity right now. I would encourage those business owners that are interested about the program or learning more. You can certainly reach out to me directly, Tobey at getvirtual.org. You can certainly go to getvirtual.org website. There's a sign up page. It's like 3 fields, 4 fields. The only caveat is that we probably won't be onboarding new businesses till the very end of this year as we get this new class spun up. Next slide. And that's it. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Tobey. Yeah, spread the word and let's get Scotts Valley businesses and Santa Clara County business or Santa Cruz County businesses queued up so that when he has capacity, they'll be ready to serve you. Last on the presentation list is Danny Reber from the Scotts Valley Chamber of Commerce. Go for it, Danny.
Thank you, Susan. First off, I really wanted to give a shout out and thank our panel for providing such useful resources and information today and offering your time to be on this webinar today. I'd really like to give a special shout out in particular to Susan O'Connor Fraser from TAM Communications. She's part of our Economic Recovery Task Force, and this whole webinar was her brainchild and her idea and wouldn't be happening without her efforts. And then would also like to give a shout out behind the scenes to our chamber office manager, Angela Marshall, who also is very helpful behind the scenes, helping create this PowerPoint and slideshows and herd all the cats with the panelists. So really just want to thank everybody for making this possible. Really appreciate your efforts. Thank you so much. So in the interest of time, I'm going to summarize my my presentation just a little bit to see if I can get us on schedule here. I think we're doing good. So one of the things I wanted to mention first off is our Economic Recovery Task Force that we have in Scotts Valley. Gosh, in fact, giving chamber presentations, I promised I would have given you a very different one a year ago before all the insanity of this year happened with COVID and the fires and everything. But with all of this craziness happening, I'm really proud to say our community and our businesses and our city have all come together to address those needs. And I'd really like to give a shout out to our Scotts Valley Economic Recovery Task Force. This is a special task force that we formed. We meet once a week. Susan, who's on this committee, is also a member on that task force as well. We have local businesses, chamber board members, and also from Scotts Valley, the city of Scotts Valley, we have Mayor Randy Johnson and Derek Tim on that committee. So it's a coming together of all of those entities, and it's really where the chamber, our role, I see it, is to make sure that you as business owners are heard and have a voice, and that we're in sync with what's happening with our local government. In addition to the local Scotts Valley Task Force, I also sit on the county task force, where we have a voice at the county level. And then our chamber is also a member of the Silicon Valley Chamber of Commerce, which even has a voice at the state level and higher with these kind of things. So we try to make sure with all of this craziness going on that you guys are represented. And really the goal out of this Economic Recovery Task Force Committee, the ultimate goal is we really want to identify and hear from those businesses out there that are hurting the most and see what we can do to help you. Some of the things you'll see listed on here, we've already started with this webinar. This is the first in a series. We're going to do one in November and also in December. We've also been working on a series of PSA videos in conjunction with TAM Communications. Gosh, thank you for making that possible. While some of these businesses are hurting and struggling, through TAM Communications and this partnership, we've had the ability to provide some 1.5 to 2 minute commercials that we're creating for these businesses that are stepping up and being a part of that. And then also working with TAM Communications, we're going to be doing a series of public service announcements, encouraging people to shop local and shop Scotts Valley and tell people what our businesses are all about here. So we'll be working on that Shop Local campaign through the end of the holidays. I mentioned that I'm working with the city. One of the things we're doing with the city is the city has actually just got approved some CARES Act funding to help our local businesses, and we're working closely with the city. In fact, the chamber is signing a contract to be able to administer and help the city, who's also shorthanded and has their plates full during these times. And then just the main thing we're trying to be out there for our members is providing resources and information. Boy, I give an update of what's happening with businesses today, and I promise you next week it'll be something different will happen. So just trying to stay apprised of what's happening. Are we opening? Are we closing? On that note, by the way, some of you businesses who might be tuned into this who are wondering that exact same question, a great example, a week ago, they were saying we were going to probably have to go back in from the red tier to the purple tier last week, which would make some things like indoor dining have to close and put a lot of more restrictions on businesses. But we actually had a decline, kind of staying right where we're at. Basically, we're staying at the red tier. We're not going to the purple, but we're not going back to the orange. So that's some good news. Hopefully that downward trend will continue. But that's just an example of how it's constantly changing. Next slide, please. So really quickly, just want to kind of talk about really the benefits of joining your local Chamber of Commerce. You know, there's other groups like Michael Olson mentioned Think Local First also, but really this is your opportunity to make connections, be a part of your community, to connect with other business owners. In addition to that, there's also referrals. Well, I can tell you, we get a lot of calls from people looking for services and goods at the Chamber of Commerce, and we're always going to refer our chamber members first. We're going to, of course, try to send them towards what they need and what they're looking for, but being a chamber member, just sometimes those referrals is alone is enough to get you businesses. And then also we have business education resources, advocacy. By advocacy, what we mean by that is, you know, boy, you might need to be doing a remodel. You might be going before the planning commission and need a little hand holding. You might just have questions. Boy, I want to put a new sign in front of my building. What do I have to do? So things like that, that's what your Chamber of Commerce is for. Reach out, we're here for you. And then in particular, one thing with our Chamber of Commerce that I'm proud of, I think we're really strong and offer a little bit above and beyond is on the advertising and marketing, which is what today's webinar is all about. So if we could go to the next slide. I'd like to give you some brief bullet points of that. So in a nutshell, you'll see all of these bullet points on here of what our chamber offers. All of these things are included just with your regular chamber membership. A lot of chamber members, I just want to remind people, make sure you take advantage of it. It's there for you to use. And basically what we're wanting from you guys as business owners is from the Chamber of Commerce is if you have something important going on, maybe you're launching a new product, maybe you're having a grand reopening, maybe you've remodeled, maybe your company has won an award for doing something amazing. We want to share those stories and let the public know about it. And basically what we're looking for from you is anytime something like that happens, send us a press release. And what we mean by that, our format, what we ask for is 300 words or less of text and a high resolution photograph or two to go with the story. And some of the ways we're going to help promote that for you is definitely on social media, which Susan spoke to in detail. I can tell you right here in Scotts Valley that more than 50% of Scotts Valley is on Facebook. And that's just Facebook, which is an anomaly a little bit for a small community like ours. But as Susan mentioned, you know, you can reach a lot of people there. And we even encourage people, if you wanted us to, we can help you do a post. Make sure to tag us in a post if you have one important. Or we can even boost a post for you through the Chamber of Commerce. And we're happy to do that. And the benefit of that is if you want to take advantage of our existing built-in audience with the Chamber's Facebook page, we can do the boost through our page and you can reach more people for less money. And some of those affiliated Facebook pages and websites, by the way, in addition to our website, our general chamber page, we also have the Scotts Valley Art, Wine, and Beer Festival Facebook page, which has a large audience that reaches even beyond Santa Cruz County. So we can use that to target individuals for things when appropriate. We also co-manage the 4th of July Facebook page too, and with Donna Lind as well. And then also just want to remind people of just even the benefits of being in the directory. We have, of course, our printed directory. You'll see the image right there on the slide. The last several years, we've worked in conjunction with the San Lorenzo Valley to make that a guide for both valleys. So only chamber members do get printed in that directory. There's even the opportunity to buy advertising if you'd like as well, which is discounted for chamber members. And then also we have an online directory as well, where we can post your information. We even have the ability for you to claim your own listing. You can go on there and put your own links and put your own images. And so we encourage you to do that. Another thing you can do easily on your own to take advantage of the chamber, whether you're a chamber member or not, or even just a community member, is we do have an online community calendar. And we encourage anybody with any kind of event, please go on there. And it's self-service. You can go on there and submit your own online events to our community calendar. And then also mentioning those press releases, once a month, the Scotts Valley Times comes out, which is a monthly publication. And we have 4 pages in the middle there. That is basically the centerfold in there where we like to include and showcase chamber members and events happening in our community. So that's an opportunity for if you want to get in print and get a story out there, we're happy to help you with that. And we also have our e-newsletter that we send out. And then we also like to encourage people, make sure our chamber lobby, we're located in the Kings Village Shopping Center, right between the Bagel Cafe and the House of Treasures Jewelry. And we do get a lot of foot traffic, a little less with COVID. And our hours, we're working from home and taking turns, me and my office manager, but you'd be surprised at the foot traffic we get. Sometimes we get tourists coming in who just want to know the lay of the land. Where can we go? Sometimes it's somebody new moving to town. Boy, where are the good restaurants? Where do my kids go to school? Maybe they're moving mom and dad, but we do get that foot traffic. So make sure we got your business cards, brochures, any kind of that collateral there. And then last but not least, Michael was talking about Think Local First and KSCO. I would like to give a shout out. We have a great partnership with the Chambers of Commerce and Think Local First and KSCO. And in fact, the first Saturday of each month, we have a Scotts Valley edition of the Think Local First show where we like to showcase local businesses. So that's also an opportunity through the Chamber of Commerce. We can help you. And in fact, gosh, just the last show we had Susan and her husband Tam on there talking about all the things they do at Tam Communications. And God, I thought I knew them, and I learned stories and things about them I didn't previously know. We have to have them back to hear the rest. So anyway, that's all I have for my presentation. I really want to thank everybody for being here today, especially our panelists, and thank you for everybody who tuned in.